When interest rates are really low, it's tempting to think, oh, is it a good time to refinance? Is it for specifically for a house? We're going to go through exactly how you can calculate if it's a good idea for you to do and the break even point in terms of how much the refinance will actually cost and how quickly it will pay off for you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is Finance Sister. My name is Anna, and this is my channel where we talk about everything related to money and having a balanced lifestyle. So before we go any further, please subscribe, like this video, and let me know your refinance story. If you felt like it was beneficial, what you did it for, I want to know. So let's define what a refinance actually is and what are some reasons why people would want to do them in the first place. So first of all, a refinance just basically means that you are paying off an existing loan and replacing it with a new one. And hopefully it's with a lower interest rate, or maybe your goal is to get a lower monthly payment. If you've been following my journey at all, you know that my husband and I have paid off over $67,000 worth of student loans and a car debt, and we are very risk averse. So, one of the reasons that people would refinance is to consolidate debt or to shorten the length of the loan of the mortgage itself or to change the type of the loan. One of the most popular reasons to refinance right now is because interest rates are fairly low. If you bought a few years ago, maybe your interest rate is about a point higher than what it is now, and it's a great time to consider refinancing. We're going to look at a few costs that are going to be associated with actually refinancing, but first, let's just preface that most experts will say that a refinance will probably be worth it if the current interest rates are at least 1 percentage point lower than what your interest rate is on your mortgage, if you're going to stay in your house for at least 5 years or longer so that it has time to pay itself off, or if you find yourself in a really tight bind and you have a good amount of equity in your house and you want to refinance to be able to withdraw some of that money, which I would not necessarily recommend. But at the same time, I do know that we are in a very stressful time right now during a pandemic. So if that is something that you're considering, maybe it's worth looking at. This is going to vary a lot depending on who you use as your lender to refinance, but on average, 2 to 5% of your actual loan amount is what your refinance is going to cost you. Okay, let's go into a refinance estimate calculation that you can actually use, and I'll link to it below.
For example, I live in Portland, Oregon. Let's say we have a $300,000 house value. That's the original mortgage that we had on it, and we got it for 4.75, and we got it 3 years ago. This is just a hypothetical. If we are trying to reduce our total mortgage interest and we were able to get a loan that was 1% less. So you can put in the new mortgage details. So if you think it's 3.75 that you'll get approved for, then you plug that in and it gives you your savings rate. Okay. And that's factoring in no cash out amount. So basically, if you wanted to withdraw some money, say things are tight right now, or you wanted to be able to pay off some other debt that had higher interest, that's what some people do, which I would not advise doing because ultimately you want to be able to pay off your house. And taking out money from the equity of the house is essentially another form of borrowing. But let's say 9,000 is actually 3% of a $300,000 mortgage, which is around the estimated average closing cost. But let's say it's 2%. So it's actually $6,000 for closing costs. That means that your total savings just went up to $19,000. So if your goal is to lower your monthly payment, you can see right here that if you actually get a mortgage that's a 30-year mortgage, so you refinance, so technically you increase the length of your loan by about 3 years, you're going to have a lower monthly payment, but you're also decreasing the amount of interest you're paying over the life of the loan. Okay, so you can just keep going and you can see, okay, if it takes me 25 years to pay off, the total savings on interest alone is going to be $31,000, but my break even point is actually going to be just under 3 years right here. So it's really cool. Just check that out. I like playing around with the numbers. So if you wanted to really save on interest, you would decrease your loan to a 15-year mortgage. And even if you were only able to get, let's say, a 0.5% less than your original interest rate of 4.75, you're still saving over $113,000 in interest alone, but your break even point does go almost a year out because of um, the actual closing costs and because you're paying more per month. So if you were just focusing on your monthly payments, I would advise you to not do um, to not increase that. But that's one way that you're going to guarantee that you're going to pay your house off early, because it's not really an option to, miss your mortgage payment. Like, you're going to do everything possible in order to pay that every month. Unlike if you get a 30-year mortgage and you say that you're going to pay it off like a 15. Usually that just doesn't happen for most people.
If you had 20 years left on your mortgage and you refinance to another 30 year, you're not actually saving any money. You're saving some money on a monthly basis, but you're paying way more in interest over the life of the loan than what's actually worth it. So it's not a good financial option overall. Let me know if this video was helpful, and thanks so much for watching.